We are in a historic house that in this village that we're in wasn't occupied during this war.
No, this was in the 80s.
So it's the residents left this graffiti drawn by the Zionist occupiers in 1982.
It says IDF in Hebrew. It's Tzahal. Tzahal means the army.
Okay,
the
Tzahal.
Israeli army. The people of South Africa, of course, they could fix this place as they fixed the other places in this historic house. But they decided to keep these graffitis to make the generations that will come. Remember that the Israelis were once here, and they are expansionists. They want to occupy more lands.
Hey everybody, this is Laith Marouf from Free Palestine TV. Before we continue with this video, I ask you to press the subscribe button on whatever social media platform you're watching this on, and to go to our website, freepalestine.video, to donate so we can continue bringing you these field reports from Lebanon and Palestine. Just a few minutes ago, less than an hour, there was an attack on a civilian car in the Bawarta region of Lebanon. We're gonna check it out and tell you the story of what happened here.
They are saying that it was two missile strike. The first one cut this pipe here and maybe penetrated into the ground, and the other one hit the car. And of course, you can see that this is right next to the military base here for the Lebanese Army.
So we're in Bawarta, in Lebanon, and earlier this morning, the Israeli drone fired two missiles on a car. Inside the car was Hussein Atwe, who is one of the leaders of al-Fajr forces in the Islamic Group, a Sunni militia here in Lebanon that supports the liberation of Palestine and supports resistance to the occupation of Lebanon. He was from Habbariye in Qada, Hasbaya, in the Hasbaya region. And there was an attempt earlier on to assassinate him in January 2024 in Kaukaba that failed. Today, here, as we can see, there's where the first missile hit. The car continued moving, and parts of the car have been, scattered all across here. You could see the charred earth. The car was on fire this whole time. And as we can see from here, the Lebanese military base right there. This attack happened right beside the military base. The car continued burning, and you could see blood right there. And the car then was hit with a second missile down there. The blast hit the wall, cement wall of the Lebanese military base. And you can see poke marks from all the shrapnel, both on the road and on the wall there. We are in a historic house that in this village that we're in wasn't occupied during this war.
No, this was in the 80s.
So it's the residents left this graffiti drawn by the Zionist occupiers in
Yeah.
1982.
It says IDF in Hebrew. It's the Tzahal.
Tzahal Brigade.
Yeah, no, it's the Tzahal means the army.
Okay,
the
Tzahal.
Israeli army.
And here's another one.
Yeah. So it looks like during the 80s, this place was used by the Israelis, the Israeli army that reached this place, of course, and stayed here. Or maybe this was a collaborator's base, so the collaborators maybe used to stay here. And the people of South Lebanon, of course, they could fix this place as they fixed the other places in this historic house. But they decided to keep these graffitis to make the generations that will come. Remember that even in far places, in 50 and 60 kilometers away from the borders, we need to remember that the Israelis were once here, and they are expansionists. They want to occupy more lands and to annex it to their occupation in Palestine. And there is nothing that will make you safe in terms of dealing with the Israelis, with the Zionists.
Except taking them out.
Yeah, of course.
That's the only thing
of
that will
course.
keep you safe.
But everyone who thinks that, okay, now we can find a half solution with them. We can find a half ground, a middle ground. We are seeing how they are dealing with all the regimes that once thought, for example, in Egypt, in Jordan, even in Syria now.
Yeah.
You know, they thought that because they are fighting the quote-unquote rebels in Syria, al-Shara, al-Julani, he thought that if he's fighting Hezbollah and fighting al-Assad regime, that okay, now the Zionists will like him and he will become their friend. Actually, now they are occupying half of the south of Syria, and I think they will be coming to the presidential palace sooner or later.
Well, you know,
and he won't have any of his this pride that okay, I'm the governor of the new Syria. Well, he will be soon maybe the secretary of the new Israeli governor if the Syrian people did not decide to fight and to start resisting this occupation.
Well, obviously, the Zionists, for us here, you give them an inch, they want a mile.
Yes.
And the minute you acknowledge the existence of a Zionist colony, they take that as acknowledgement of God giving them this land. And they go further. And now, as we see over the last few weeks, there's been demands by the Zionist organizations in the West to change the Quran.
Uh-huh.
They want you to edit the Quran. They basically, what they're requesting of the Palestinians, the Arabs, and the Muslims in general, is to acknowledge that they are the chosen people.
So we have to add new parts in the Quran or delete some parts?
Delete some parts from the Quran because otherwise we will be considered anti-Jewish. So this is why you cannot give 1 inch to the Zionists. Zionism is Jewish white supremacy. Zionism is colonialism. And we refuse to acknowledge the right of the Zionist colony to exist on our land, and we'll fight it till the end of time.
And it starts because they think that they are the only people who deserve to live. And everyone else, even the Christians, even the Americans themselves, the Europeans, when the Zionists and what we call them sometimes the supremacists, the Jewish supremacists, who think that they are the chosen people, when they think about others, the only thing they see is Goyim and us.
Yeah,
this is what they see. People less grade human beings if they think that we were human beings. Because I have once I was reading in some interpretations of the Talmud, and they don't recognize other people, non-Zionists, as people.
Yeah.
They think that they are either monsters or slaves, and This tells you everything.
Well, everybody that's watching this, they should read the books of Israel Shahak, Israeli historian Israel Shahak, specifically, is Jewish history, Jewish religion, the weight of 1,000 years. That details
yes.
Exactly how the Talmud is used by the Zionists for Jewish supremacist aims.
About al-Fa'am.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I read in Arabic, the translation.
Yeah. All right, let's continue this tour.
Yep.
So we drove to Iqleem al-Tufah, the apple region in South Lebanon. This is the top of one of the mountains of the apple region. Behind me is the Mleeta tourist destination. It's a museum built by Hezbollah to commemorate the victory of 2006 and showcase all the weapons captured from the Zionists and the way that Hezbollah defended Lebanon in that year. During the war, there's been multiple air raids that hit in the open fields and the forests around Mleeta. But yesterday, there was an attack inside the museum for the first time, and it hit just beside the huge pole there for the flag. Part of the missile is still inside. We are not allowed right now to go in because of safety concerns until the remains of the shell has been removed and disposed. We're going to continue in the Iqleem al-Tufah and we will tell you more about what's happening around the area. So we are in Iqleem al-Tufah. Behind me is Hawa Jarjoua restaurant and resort. This is a very famous restaurant and resort in the area. A lot of international tourists come here. It's so quiet, so beautiful. The natural reserve behind it. There was an attack yesterday in the mountains across the valley from the restaurant. But before we go in and see the location where the hit happened and talk about that, we should mention two things that happened since the morning. One is that the Palestinian Islamic Jihad have announced that their leadership in Syria have been kidnapped and disappeared by the Julani gang that controls Damascus today. It's been 5 days. There has no news been coming out about the leadership of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Syria. And the other thing is that just an hour ago, as we were driving to this location, there was another Israeli attack on Sur, the famous resort on the Mediterranean, known sometimes in English as Tyre. Sur has faced a lot of attacks during the war, specifically the Corniche. The Israelis wanted to destroy the beauty of the city to make it less appealing and less economic benefit to Lebanon. So we're going to go inside the restaurant right now, and we'll talk about the attack that happened yesterday across from here. We are in the Jarjoua Valley, still around the Mleeta Museum in the Iqleem al-Tufah, the apple region. Yesterday there was Israeli air raids, shells fired right here on the side of the mountain while people were at the restaurant Hawa Jarjoua, the Winds of Jarjoua, very famous restaurant in the area. And you can see from the video that was filmed by the people at the restaurant how close the shelling was. You can see behind me how much haze there is in the air. This is not pollution. This is part of the Khamaseen sandstorm, the 50th sandstorm. This is a sandstorm that arrives from the Sahara in Africa on the 50th day of spring. Every year, on the 50th day of spring, the Khamaseen wind carries the sand from the Sahara over Egypt and Libya and the Mediterranean and lands on the shores of Lebanon, Palestine, and goes all the way to Iraq. The Khamaseen sandstorms are very important for bringing nutrition both to the Mediterranean Sea because of how much high value nutrients are in the sands of the desert, and also this new layer of sand that will be laid on Palestine, Syria, and Lebanon will revitalize the sand, the grounds here for growing. So we are in Iqleem al-Tufah in the Jarjoua Valley, and as you can see, people, it's a natural reserve. Can you explain a little bit why the Israelis are so hateful of Iqleem al-Tufah?
Well, this is the place where they were humiliated in the 80s. It was, this exact area was the first location for the resistance to start systematically. This was the first, it's now called the, they can call it the first
Birthplace.
unit for Hezbollah. The first geographic unit for Hezbollah was born in this place. It was called the first محور الأول, the first place for military
axis.
operations. It wasn't an axis, it was a center of military operations. So because Hezbollah back then was not attacking, it was liberating these hills. So you had on the upper hill of this mountain, there was a famous, infamous base for the Israelis. You can still see the what was left of it. So you can see this artificial hill on the top of the mountain that used to be in the 80s an Israeli checkpoint, not checkpoint, it was an Israeli mini base. It used to strike the houses and the civilians in the areas and to fire their machine guns on everywhere. On this place also, you can see the, I don't know, are you showing it in the camera?
Yes.
This hill also, it was known for to be a place where the Israelis used to put a radar, a small radar here, and equipment for espionage and for detection. This place witnessed most of the operations in the 1980s and in the early 1990s. The valley points were known to be the places for the resistance. So it was rumored, or it was said among the people, that the Israelis used to own the hills, the top hills, because they were afraid. But the resistance used to own the valleys and the villages.
Just like the Crusaders who were stuck always in their forts at the top of the mountains and never afraid to get out of those forts.
All the military operations that were filmed in the 1980s and 1990s, they were all attacks on the top hills of the mountains. I hope you will be able to include at least one operation in the end of this video. We will include it. I think it's gonna be a good ad. And later on, all of these hills were liberated by the resistance when the Israelis left. And of course, this is why they hold this grudge for even for the trees. As we saw, they targeted open areas, and you will never expect that Hezbollah is walking in front of
a restaurant,
a hotel
that's full of international
an open
tourists.
area. And can you just imagine that Hezbollah is, will like just show their weapons or their missiles in this place? It's just a grudge against the area.
Well, this was Hadi Hotait and Laith Marouf from Free Palestine TV. Go to our website, freepalestine.video, to subscribe for a monthly donation and to share our content. Press the follow button on whatever social media platform you're watching this on. And until we see you next time, we bid you all a free Palestine.